Hey folks, it's really cold. Welcome to episode 229 of Geeking Out. It's Jim, it's Julie, we're freezing our butts off, so let's get to some warm comic book reviews, shall we? And let's start off with Insurgent.
Insurgent number 1 of 6 from DC Comics. This book is set, I think it was 2028 it was set in. And
when the robots take over.
No, this is trying to keep the robots from taking over when the American government starts the insurgency program so that they can hunt terrorists, and they create cyborgs.
But they're hunting terrorists now.
Then the cyborgs go rogue, so they create a secret organization.
So now there are cyborg terrorists. Okay.
There are cyborg terrorists, and there are cyborg terrorist hunters, and it's kind of neat.
Sounds convoluted.
It is very convoluted. It was a little difficult to follow. I did not enjoy the art.
The art looks really unfinished in this.
It feels very unfinished.
Yeah.
And I felt like there were just too many times in this book where I was confused, where I had to go back a couple of pages and double-check timelines because they jumped all over the place with their characters. So, my general review is that this book is okay. I feel like the number 2 would help clear up a lot of things. They introduce an awful lot of new characters. But I think that there's space for it to become really cool, and I think that you guys should give it a chance.
Alright, next up we have Criminal Macabre and 30 Days of Night, Final Night. And in this one, Cal McDonald meets up with Alice Blood, a federal agent with a story about vampires in Barrow, Alaska. The two must team together to stop the vampires' plot to take over Los Angeles.
That sounds really good.
Yep. It's just a bit confusing because you really need to know the continuities for both 30 Days of Night and Criminal Macabre. Otherwise, you're going to be very confused in this. So, unless you're a big, gigantic fan of both series, it's really not going to be for you. The art here is not great. They're really trying to be a Ben Templesmith style, and it just doesn't work here.
I wouldn't even say Templesmith at all. I did not feel any Templesmith.
No?
Was this the book? I think this is the book that I sort of liked the art, and I felt like it worked with the story. It just wasn't my taste.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's not terrible either. It's just, like I said, you need to know what's been going on in both series to actually get what's going on in this one. So if you are a fan of both series, do check this one out. It is a bit of fun.
Book 2 for me this week is Uncanny X-Force number 1, which really felt far more like Uncanny X-Force number 100.
Yeah, if you're coming into this and don't know who any of these characters are, you are going to be confused.
If you're coming into Uncanny X-Force, I highly recommend spending some time with my friend Wikipedia.
Wiki is your friend.
Learning about the previous X-Force, because they talk about things that happened in the other book. I really feel like this book just continues. It picks up from where the other one left off, and it's just been renumbered. That said, in this one, Psylocke has been kicked out of Wolverine's School for Gifted Children and sent on a mission. Well, not really a mission, because, Logan, since he's a headmaster, can't send people on missions anymore. But she was sent on a mission. In this, she teams up with Storm, and they end up in LA, if memory serves, and typically...
Great, now they're going to be attacked by vampires trying to take over LA.
Yep. Or, at the very least, they're going to be attacked by the Hive.
Oh, great.
This was a good book. The story is there. It looks like it's going in a great direction. My only beef is the same one that I have with number 1s all the time. Tell me who the characters are if you're using established characters. Give me a page. Introduce me. Or give me their name in the first few things, because
not everyone's going to come into comics knowing who these characters are.
I was 3/4 of the book through before I knew that it was Psylocke.
Yep. And I mean, Psylocke's not that big a character to a lot of people, so...
Exactly. That said, if you like Psylocke, this book focuses on her. It's really great. Pick it up, give it a chance, but spend some time with Wikipedia first.
Next up, we have Black Beetle, #1. And in this one, the Black Beetle investigates 2 local mob bosses, but a mysterious explosion kills them and their men. Now Black Beetle must find the murderous bomber before he strikes again.
Ooh.
Alright, so this is one of my faves of the week, out of the 2 books that I really enjoyed this week. This art is absolutely gorgeous. It's a very 40s/50s noir style to it, and it really works here. The story is okay. It's your standard Shadow-esque type story, but it does work, and the characters are interesting enough, and the plot is very intriguing so far. So I am actually looking forward to seeing where this book goes. If you are a fan of noir comics from the 40s and 50s, this is the perfect introduction for a new generation to that style. It's a great book. Do check it out. It's simply wonderful.
Fantastic. Young Avengers #1 is my next book up. And in this book, the Young Avengers have been split up.
Not again.
They have decided to disband and are trying to lead normal lives.
This is disbanding number 3.152.
Probably. And I would love to give you guys some more information about who the characters are that are featured in this book. But again, Marvel, you didn't give me any. So
once again, Marvel flubs trying to do a new series. Oh, joy.
I wish that Marvel had given us a little more information. Unfortunately, I did not have the time last night to dedicate to pulling all of this up. I wish that I had a chance, because I'd love to be able to tell you guys more about this book. What I can tell you is that it has a very, very intriguing plot line.
Yeah.
It deals entirely with the time-space continuum and how things change when you change things that happened in the past.
Like that time I crushed that butterfly and those velociraptors attacked.
Exactly. I really liked where this book was going. I'm
then
intrigued by the
hats
characters.
and did a dance.
I'm very, very intrigued by these characters. I just wish that I knew who they were. So, if you like time-space continuum play, or if you enjoyed the previous Young Avengers, give this one a chance. It was good. I just don't know who anybody is.
Alright, next up we have Plume, #1. And in this one, the young woman Vesper is the thrill-seeking daughter of a renowned explorer. But her life changes forever the day she almost dies and meets her guardian spirit, Korik.
Ooh.
So, this is my pick of the week.
Okay.
This story is fantastic. The artwork is gorgeous. Simplistic, yet gorgeous. It very much reminded me in some points of Princeless, which is a good thing. But this book is absolutely fantastic.
I really like the way that it feels.
It really does feel good. And it's really got an interesting dynamic between the 2 main characters here. And that's always a good thing in my book. Great art in this, great story. This is my pick of the week. You gotta check this one out. If you're a comics fan, do yourself a favor. Do check this one out. I quite enjoyed it.
My pick of the week was Deadpool Killustrated. And Deadpool Killustrated...
He's killing Moby Dick.
He's killing everything.
Because he's Deadpool.
Exactly. In this book, this book spins directly out of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
And he decides to go multiverse hopping and kills every superhero in every universe.
Yes. And then he decides to do that with classic literature. It's a fairly surface plot. It's Deadpool I read Deadpool because he's witty and funny, and I believe that most people do. The plot is very, very spelled out for you. It's given to you right off the bat. This is just a really fun book. It's really fun watching Deadpool take on a whale. What can I say?
Not to mention climb out of the whale.
Yes. That was also very... Well, I wouldn't say that it was fun, but it was interesting to see.
Yes.
Deadpool, as always, is very, very witty and violent and gory.
Yep. And you gotta wonder what book or classic literature he'll go into next.
I think, really, I think that with this book, with this series, the game is on. And we're going to see some very, very neat characters.
Let's hope he doesn't go into Pride and Prejudice. He'll just fall asleep.
He'll take care of the zombies, though.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Anyways, Deadpool Killustrated is my pick of the week. I think that you guys should all go out, pick it up. It's good for a giggle at the absolute very least. Oh, and one other thing that I'm going to point out. It's in the bottom corner, if I can manage to make it big enough. But in the very bottom corner, above the barcode, Marvel has done a fantastic, fantastic thing. They put a parental advisory on it.
Which is a good thing, because it's certainly not for kids.
It's not at all for kids, and it says very clearly, parental advisory, not for kids. Thank you, Marvel. This is the one thing you did right this week, in my opinion.
Alright, and last, and certainly least this week, is The Whistling Skull, number 1. This is drawn by a certain misogynistic a-hole that I named Tony Harris, but I won't go into that this week. And the storyline for this one is the Nazi war machine is on the move, and it's up to one heroic duo to solve the problems that the Nazis cause in even the smallest hamlets. The problem is there's no real flow in this book. That's my major problem with this book. They are going from different timelines and different places and just trying to make it all fit together, but it just doesn't. And quite frankly, Tony Harris's art looks like, every time he draws a human, they look like Golem. And it just looks ugly to me.
I'm going to amend something, guys. This is the book that I don't particularly like this art style.
Yeah.
But I feel like this art style has been done well. Jim and I very strongly differ on opinions on art in this book.
Yes. I just happen to not like his designs on the humans. The rest of the stuff looks great.
Fair.
It's just, it looks ugly at points with some of the human faces and whatnot, and they're really out of proportion to my eye, and as a fellow artist, it just looks ugly to me. So it doesn't work for me. It works okay for Julie, that's fine. I don't mind that. But I can't really recommend it because there's really no sense to be made of this actual story. So,
well, perhaps in the next 5 issues.
Perhaps, but really in the first one it just doesn't work. Now, I'm not a fan of Tony Harris. A lot of people aren't after his little rant a while ago. So I won't try and judge him on that. But honestly, I just did not like the book. So unless you're a really big fan of The Whistling Skull, then do check it out. But quite honestly, I did not have fun with it. Alright, so that brings us to the end of another episode of Geeking Out. We're going to get some hot cocoa and tea, and we will be back next week. Let's huddle together for warmth.